Well, the direct mail industry goes back a long time. It goes back probably before certain areas of the country uh, had retail and before goods were shipped all over. So Chicago became the center of the direct mail industry because it was kind of accessible to the whole country. It was the beginning of the West, if you will. Uh, so direct mail is kind of an ancient practice. What happened to direct mail was that when I was asked to address the Direct Mail Association, I thought about it and decided I didn't want to do that. So I went to the Direct Mail Association. I said, hey guys, why don't you change your name to the Direct Marketing Association, which would give you access to more media and more companies. So they thought about it and decided they would do that. So we had a day, I think it was at the Plaza Hotel, where I made a speech and introduced the idea. As a matter of fact, I wrote an ad, a full-page ad for the New York Times, announcing the first Direct Marketing Day and explaining in that ad what the differences were between direct mail and direct marketing. Direct marketing is an industry, as is direct mail, but that's one medium. Actually, to prosper these days, you can't live with one medium. It's like having one note on a piano. It just doesn't make music. So we began to understand that you had to use all media and that they in some way had to cooperate in this change. So I was asked by the Direct Mail Association to speak at I'm sure it's the Plaza Hotel. And what I did was create this full-page ad announcing the first Direct Marketing Day and suggesting that I was going to speak at the Plaza Hotel to explain it. What happened was, because of that ad, lines formed outside the Plaza Hotel. They could hardly accommodate the number of people who came, where it was simply my thought that they had to expand beyond their own mailing list to give this information about where they were going and why they were going to get there. So the whole thing was kind of a rebirth of an old industry that had functioned very well through the media it had. With the onset of other media, particularly coming now to the internet, it changed the face of the whole industry. And everybody understands that the internet is interactive. And it came to me because I understood the Army had a system called the ARPANET. And the ARPANET was a dialogue between officers in the Army who could communicate to each other through the ARPANET. I knew about that. And I decided that why should that be limited to Army officers? Why not do something more expansive? So I thought about the internet. And the internet was really beginning to happen strongly at a couple of universities. MIT, where a man named Nicholas Negroponte became one of the first visionaries of what I call direct marketing, and Peter Drucker, who out in California, I think he was at Stanford. Peter Drucker was one of the great marketing professors of all time. And Peter also came to the conclusion that direct marketing was the future, and direct mail would be an essential part of it, but not all of it. So that's how we got there. And I met a couple of very interesting people, Negroponte at MIT, Drucker out in California, Stanford. So we began to get academia involved. So suddenly we were looking at something much more expansive, fundamental, and future-based than the industry had been.